Alright, well, I'll say right now, door 3 is the most perplexing door of the mysteries. If it is how I theorize, something weird must be
The
afoot.
third locked room was a murder that happened 1 month ago in the
It's
art
clear they
gallery
left the door.
storage in Ginma district. Pictures and paint were scattered all around the spot where a woman was boom killed. If you think you're up for it, then let's solve this thing.
This one's,
Are you
I
going to
think,
the third
easily the
locked
one
room?
I don't have a in my mind solution to. Honestly, I feel like someone reached in the jar of cookies. I feel like the problem is, as she said, there was no way she could fit her hands through there. Some external item had to be
Stuck inside
used.
a locked room
However,
again?
there are no pinpoints for any nails, no string points, right? But obviously this person's been using a string the entire time.
This was the corpse that was discovered by that worshipper and the art gallery employee. At the time of discovery, the door was locked and the key was nailed to a doll inside the room. Aside from the door, the only other entrance is the window, but it opens just enough to fit.
What
a
if someone
finger
used something
in.
like a bag?
The frame itself is too small for even a child to squeeze through. How did the culprit vanish from here?
Is there a gap in the door? I don't remember. The culprit left the front door, though, that's for sure.
Here. I think the culprit could have only escaped from here, but
Nothing's happening. Maybe you made a mistake, Master.
no, that can't be right. It's impossible for anyone to squeeze through that window. They could have only gotten out through the door. I'm sure the culprit had the key and locked the door from the outside after committing the crime.
The culprit just used a copy of the key? Would that really be considered a locked room mystery?
Well, there are only 2 keys to the storage space, and the design makes them impossible to duplicate. I learned that thanks to you, Halara.
One of the keys is always carried by that one employee. It was used when the body was first discovered, right? And the only other key was nailed through a doll onto a painting.
I didn't catch that detail when I first went through it. Shit. So it's the other key that was used. This key is impossible to retrieve. And impossible to put back on. So the only key that could be used was the one that went to the administrator's office, which means they had to somehow take the key from the room. So they had to somehow tether it to the door somehow. Either, but there was no scuff marks or lines.
So, it is a locked room mystery! Right? Right? Oh, that's totally it.
I see. I suppose you could call it that. Hey, Yuma, can you go check outside of that window?
Oh, just like before.
Before?
Yeah, you made me do the same thing in the real world when we were investigating this place.
I see. Then the answer has already been confirmed. Very well. The locked room is solved.
Huh? Wait, did you already solve this mystery?
You haven't? How
Wow.
about you go and check outside the window? Then even you will see.
Oh, it unlocked. Looks like you can go outside.
All right, let's go see.
Hey, didn't you already check this in the real world? Why do it again?
Halara told me to check it twice. There must be an important clue outside that window.
Hey! Maybe the culprit threw the key in through the window. That way, the key would be found inside. Well, how about that theory?
No. What if you nail gunned it?
Is this the storage key?
Which means... this one's a freebie! I was right! Just toss it in there, Matt.
The culprit threw the key inside?
No.
Is that really the right answer? Did the culprit throw the key in from the window?
Master, hurry up and throw the key!
I don't think it was thrown.
Your footing's crumbling away! You're gonna fall!
That's the right answer?
How? Didn't the culprit throw the key in there? That's why the key was found inside, right?
No, the crime scene wouldn't end up like that if we threw it in. The key was nailed to a painting. That's not possible if you just throw it into the room.
Oh, right. But if the culprit didn't throw it in there, how is the key left in the room?
If you can't nail the key after throwing it...
Huh.
You're back. The key vanished.
The key is in my hand.
Master, you got the doll and nail!
I see. So you're supposed to recreate the locked room. In the
Oh,
same way-
fuck this. I don't have a freaking clue.
Try it out. Doing so will create a new path.
Yeah, I'm gonna solve this.
Good luck, Master! You have to recreate the culprit's locked room mystery. First, do something about that doll.
Use everything you know and recreate the... All that's left is to follow the steps.
I need to check what it was. I need to check what painting it was like tethered to.
All right, first, take the painting.
Prop the painting against the wall next to the window. Nail the key to the painting. Nail the doll to the painting. Nail the doll first.
The culprit nailed the doll onto the painting. Next, both were stood up at a certain location. The painting was stood up facing the window. Now the part with the pierced doll is right next to the window. After that... Then the culprit went outside. The door was locked, and they went to the other side of the storage room. I can see the painting and doll through the window, but I can barely fit my hand through the gap.
The doll's got a nail in it, but the problem is that key in your hand, Master.
Yeah, the culprit took the key and then...
No. Think about the state the corpse was in at the time of discovery. The key wasn't just hanging on it.
Rip. Nail the painting with the doll. How do you do that?
The culprit nailed the key to the painting, along with the doll from outside the window.
Yeah, because there were two nails in it.
Finally...
Knock the painting in.
I pushed the painting into the room. It completes the locked room mystery. This is how the culprit did it.
That's a goofy one.
It took some time, but you've reached the truth behind this locked room.
I get
How
it
they came
though,
through the
but
window
I
would be
just
obvious.
couldn't piece that together. But
So
I
to mislead us into thinking that was impossible.
it would have been a true
the
lock
key was
mystery had
nailed
that
to a painting,
painting
which was
been
then
nailed to the
pushed over.
floor.
It's one thing for an amateur.
That's what I was
but
worried
a
about.
detective wouldn't be tricked by this.
Seriously, only amateurs would get fooled. Wait, you mean me? Hey, a treasure chest! Who's gonna open this one? We should let the meanest one of us open it.
How would you decide that?
Like... I'm the meanest.
If you want that title,
Let's check out this treasure. Huh?
What's wrong?
It's empty.
Huh? Why? After all we went through to solve this locked room.
This must mean solving the third locked room mystery doesn't necessarily bring us any closer to the ultimate truth.
wow.
That's terrible. I suddenly feel so tired.
We can't call it quits. We gotta keep going. That's
That
it for
deconfirms the
all
maid.
truth. We make a pretty good team. Don't you think so?
Well, what do we do from here?
Well, the nun.
I see. The way forward.
In
is
fact,
clear.
the hand
Must lead
issue
to solving all of the locked room mysteries.
actually eliminates her from doing it because she would have to do it with a broken hand. If her dominant hand was out, she would have trouble throwing the key in. Correct. So I'm back to sussing the priest and the if the hand is broken, right? She could be lying to us.
Now let's go.
Right.
Again, I gotta ask. Who's supposed to be the protagonist here?
If it was broken. Yeah, true. I will agree with that logic. But if we could prove it was like with a medical record before,
This place is creepy.
Don't be afraid to roll the dice. You must keep pursuing the truth. Emotions must be discarded to reach a perfect solution through a perfect deduction. Isn't that right?
Yes.
she'd have a hell of a time throwing a key in, though. She'd have a hell of a time. I have a feeling that we got to go back to the room 3, though. I feel like there's a key there with the bashed in the head issue.
Is this some dungeon?
What is the meaning of this? Let me out of here!
Let me out! I'll kill your ass in the name of God!
I have nothing to do with the game.
I'm not the culprit! Let me go!
Wow, they're all here.
So now we must pick out the true culprit of this case.
The true culprit.
Yuma, you solved all the locked room mysteries before you made it here. You should have all the clues and evidence you need to accuse the culprit. To be honest, when I first met you, I thought you were rather pitiful.
You sure are honest.
But my opinion of you has improved. These mysteries have brought you closer to becoming a true detective. Now tie up all the loose ends and prove that I am not mistaken about you. With your logic, anything is possible.
All right, I'll try.
Ooh, somebody's guilty. My heart's pounding.
I'm not the nail man.
I'm not the culprit.
You're a fairly thin guy, though.
I'm not the culprit.
What's with his hand?
I'm not the nail man.
How can I be the nail man?
I'm not the nail
It's not this guy.
How can I be the nail man?
Let's look at the clues and maybe we'll, if it'll let us.
I'm not the culprit.
How can I be the nail man?
Servant's out.
I'm not the nail man.
How can I be the nail man?
The worshipper is thin and was present at every start of the crime. We learned that someone had to be tall enough to reach the doorway, right? They had to have the precision to nail that on. If the only other two crime scenes matter, we learned that the nail strat, someone used a lot of string. Does anything clear worshipper? I don't know. The only thing that clears him is the fact that he was the first witness and we saw through his eyes. He would have to be pretty agile and nimble to make it through the vent, which is unlikely.
I'm not the culprit.
He's pretty well built.
I'm not the nail man.
For her, she could be nimble. I hate that I can't fucking check. Someone had to nail shit in the wall and climb up it. Someone had to drop down with loafers, which she is unlikely to wear. She would also need the precision to do some of the stuff in that crime. So I'm eliminating her.
I'm not the culprit.
No, that's exactly what I was saying. I think I mentioned that before. Is it like, were we seeing through his eyes? Right. But that's disproven because he was the first person to see. No. He was the first person to enter Locked Room Mystery 3, right? Because the guy who was actually witnessing it was behind him, right? So that pulls the worshiper out.
How can I be the nail man?
We would have seen the back of the worshipper's face had he been, well, the back of his head, had he been not the murderer, right?
I'm not the nail man.
Between her and
The
him,
nail man.
people don't show him
I'm
precognition.
not the culprit.
Living people don't show. That narrows down the thing. In casino room, the key was most definitely seen in the glasses, right? Right, the key was in a wine glass, just chilling. There could be some detail they wouldn't know about. That clears him. I can't think of anything that would excuse the priest.
I'm not the
She is probably
mailman.
not tall enough to reach the top of the board, throw the key in, and thread that needle. He is tall enough.
How can
He is
I
tall
be
enough.
the nailman?
I'm not the culprit.
I hate that I can't check my evidence.
I'm not the culprit.
How can I
This
be
guy
the
does spend time behind the woods, though. He does. I want to set up the
I'm not
priest.
the culprit.
The culprit is you, Father.
What? That's an absolutely...
ridiculous thing to say?
Him again? Why won't he just give up?
You're saying the priest, a man of the cloth, is the culprit? That's impossible. How dare you spew such nonsense?
Right. Do not make baseless accusations. The culprit has to be someone else.
Yuma, can I leave this to you?
It's not a baseless accusation. You're the only one who could possibly be the culprit.
Master, you're acting like a real detective. Go on and boom kill him.
That's cool. The problem here is the proof. He's wearing loafers, and so is the worshipper.
I'm a man of the cloth. Like this. It's total blasphemy. I am not the mailman. That's it! The first one to discover the body. The mailman is the worshiper!
It's the worshipper.
Yeah.
I'm a man of the cloth. Like this. It's total blasphemy! I am not the mailman. That's it! The first one to discover the body. The mailman is the worshiper!
Right.
Oh, he's not part of the clergy. I'm dumb.
Then
I'm a man of the cloth. Like this. It's total blasphemy! I am not the mailman. That's it! The first one to discover the body. The mailman is the worshiper!
This is the truth. The rope ladder used in the clock tower's locked room was found in the incinerator, which only clergy can access. The worshipper may be a regular churchgoer, but he's no clergy member, so he's no longer a suspect.
Shut up! Shut up! Ridiculous! A member of the church is the culprit? Even so, I am not the culprit. There are others working for the church. Yes, there's the servant. The servant must be the nailman. The servant was able to commit the crimes.
I'll flash through this mystery. Climbing up to the underground casino's window with only nails for footing would require considerable agility. Judging by the size of the window, there's no way someone of his size could have committed the crime.
No, no, no! Absolute lies! The nun must be the culprit. She's thin and also works at the church. The nun was absolutely able to commit the crimes.
This is the truth! In the mansion study's locked room, the culprit tossed the key behind the corpse with perfect aim. With her dominant hand injured, the nun couldn't have done that, which means she's not the culprit.
This guy's a pretty big member of the public, and maybe Amaterasu wanted him.
It's not the churchgoer, the servant, or the nun. There's only one option left, Father. It's you. You are the nail man.
Hey, say something quick. Otherwise, they'll pin me as the culprit.
Well,
You're useless. I am a priest in service to God. I am not the nail man.
What god would make you this ugly?
All your proof is nothing but fantasy. You don't have a single piece of hard evidence.
Hard evidence?
Yep.
But master, you do! It's easy.
Based on the facts, the priest must be the culprit. The decisive evidence that proves it is... I don't know. What do I do? What do I do?
What?
A detective must always prioritize solving a case. Listen, a detective isn't an arbiter of justice. Unraveling a case is top priority, even with questionable methods.
What do you mean?
In short, you must get them to confess. Use everything in your arsenal, even if it requires bluffing.
Use everything?
Don't hesitate to use anything that might give you an advantage. Emotions must be discarded to reach a perfect solution through a perfect deduction.
A bluff?
Time to commit perjury.
In other words, I should just claim I have solid evidence. But what could I use as a bluff?
Enough with your stupid fantasy. Everything you say is nothing but a fantasy. Do you have any proof that I'm the culprit? Did you find my fingerprints? Did you find my blood? Of course there's no evidence.
This is the truth! You left clear evidence at the clock tower's crime scene. There were footprints left under the window in the mud. When we inspected them, we found out they perfectly match your footprints.
Impossible. I already burned those shoes in the incinerator.
You gave yourself away.
That feels like it can't be used in court, though, because it happened in a fantasy scenario.
I only enacted justice in the name of God.
Looks like it worked. Good job, Yuma.
Thanks.
Karnai Ward is rotten to the core. To save it, someone had to get their hands dirty. Those slain were the evil incarnate that harmed others. That's why the people asked the nailmen to kill them. Evil must be punished. All I did was slay evil.
Something's not... That can't be the end.
If someone hates somebody bad enough, they give that name to the Nailman. And this priest went around killing those people as the Nailman.
The urban legend offered targets for murder.
A priest is supposed to be the voice of God, but he went around killing people because someone wanted them dead. What is awesome?
It's terrible. It's insane to think that he'd kill people for a reason like that.
That could be said about all murders. Insane people kill for insane reasons. Anyway, you did it, Yuma. My expectations of you weren't wrong after.
Is it finally over? Huh, nothing's happening. But last time...
Yeah, the soul of the true culprit who created this mystery labyrinth should appear. And since it didn't, it looks like this isn't over yet.
Huh? It's not over?
There are still mysteries related to the Nailman killings within this mystery labyrinth.
But we solved all of the locked rooms and...